It's that time of the week. It's Friday. We're going to dig into the crypto world and we're going to dollar cost average into the crypto portfolio, whilst these prices are at bargain prices, in my opinion. But let's get straight down to the desktop. Hit the like button if you enjoy this sort of content. Subscribe if you haven't already. I think over 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. So get subscribed. Join us in the free educational Discord, link in the description down below. Let's waste no time. Let's go. So I think that this is a perfect opportunity, at least in my eyes. We've had a little bit of a move to the upside, but it is ever so slight. Bitcoin at 67,835.21, up 1.10% in the past 24 hours. But I still think that these prices are super cheap, and I am expecting some big movements to the upside in the coming weeks and months. Obviously, not financial advice. Treat this purely as entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Never invest more than you're willing to lose, because you do risk losing all of your money if you invest in cryptocurrency. We're still in extreme fear at 12, and the total market cap of crypto globally is at $2.32 trillion. Come the peak of the bull run, I'm expecting this to exceed $10 trillion. But again, it comes down to your time horizon, right? We're building a really decent portfolio, in my humble opinion. It isn't performing particularly well right now, and we'll go on to that in a moment. But I'm not really too concerned. This is a great opportunity to dollar cost average into the market, reduce the average price that we've been paying for some of these altcoins. And ultimately, the way I look at it is these are altcoins that a lot of the big major institutions are buying. They have potential for a spot ETF. For me, there's more upside than there is downside. But that could age like milk, or it could age like a fine wine, right? Nobody's got a crystal ball. So take everything that I say with a pinch of salt. Do your own research, speak to a financial advisor before you make any investment decisions. But if we have a look at the portfolio, we're actually down 53.02% of all time. We're down 3,619.25. The portfolio is worth 3,210.80. So yeah, look, I have a very good track record when it comes to cryptocurrency. I've pretty much made all of my wealth from cryptocurrency. And what I would say is you need to have big kahunas to do what I'm doing on YouTube publicly in front of everybody. I'm cementing my name against this portfolio, and I'm here saying that I believe this portfolio is going to go on to do some really magical things. And look, I am not concerned being down 53% at this moment in time, because I think that these prices don't actually reflect the underlying technology of these projects. Now, you can agree, you can disagree. That's completely your prerogative. It doesn't bother me. I'm just doing me here, right? I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just giving my views, my opinions, and we'll see whether this ages like a fine wine or whether it ages like milk. And I'm completely fine with that. But the clown emojis and the negativity, you might want to hold back, because I'll keep the receipts and I will come back and it will haunt you. I'm very, very confident. That's me. Midnight, top of our portfolio here. It's the only one we're in green. We're actually up 8.86%. Beautiful. We are up on a few in the last 24 hours. But look, overall, it's the only one we're up on, 0.96% up on midnight. So if we actually have a look at the analysis here, you get a good breakdown of the portfolio. Midnight's top, 24% of our portfolio. Chainlink second at 11%. XRP at 9%. Ethereum at just under 6%. Solana at just over 5.5%. Litecoin, and I know people are going to be like, what you got that in there? Digital silver. If gold, digital gold is Bitcoin, Litecoin is digital silver. HBAR 5%, AVAX 4.88, so on. Look, we've got a very strong portfolio, right? And we do need to build out some more of these, but at these prices, I'm really focused on the stuff that is a must-have rather than a nice-to-have, and some that I kind of feel like I don't want to miss the boat on. So we're going to add 3 projects to our positions for free projects. The first one we're going to add is going to be Chainlink. I've talked about this a lot. Oracles are a must-have, not a nice-to-have. Chainlink massively undervalued, in my humble opinion. I think that it's going to go on to do really well. Again, all the smart money is accumulating Chainlink. So we're going to go over. We've got $116. We're going to go to spot. We're going to buy some link. I'm going to buy 25% of what we've got in link. So we've gone and done that. The next one that I want to buy is some Hyperliquid. Again, I think that we're going to miss the boat on this one if we're not too careful. Again, I think this one's going to do really well. Lots of volume on this particular project. I really do like it. I think that it's going to do really well. So we're going to add some Hyperliquid. And we're going to buy 50% of what's remaining. So there we go. And then it probably goes without saying, we're going to buy some Midnight 6 cent 316. Again, we're going to get all over this one. Again, one that I'm really, really confident on. It's not necessarily one that the institutions are buying just yet, probably too new, but ultimately we need to have a good amount of night in the portfolio, in my humble opinion, if I can stop having hiccups. Okay, so let's get some of these into the portfolio then. So we've bought some night. So we've bought 700.29 night. So let's get that into the portfolio here. And this is the thing, right? Like, I know that people are not happy right now in the crypto space. Portfolios are down. They're down an awful lot. But ultimately, the way I'm looking at it is, we should only be investing what we're willing to lose. And if we do lose it all, it shouldn't matter. I don't think that that's going to be what happens. But if you are feeling massively overwhelmed and you're really upset about your position, then like I would encourage you to do your own research, because if you don't have the conviction in what it is that you're buying, then you're clearly not doing your own research. That's my humble opinion. And I do think that with crypto, unlike many other asset classes, if you perhaps don't, I don't know, like if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, the big pullbacks, then this probably isn't a market for you. You probably want a more established market. You probably want to invest over a longer period of time, rather than such a short period of time. So yeah, look, for me, it's just really, really interesting. We're going to see how things all develop, obviously. So this is the updated portfolio now. Just refresh it, just make sure everything's loaded in. 24.51% night, 11.36% Chainlink. We added Hype, which is still not on the board yet. We probably haven't invested enough in Hype. Let's actually show more assets. Hyperliquid, yeah, we haven't invested. We've only got £54 worth of Hype, so it's just not quite on the list yet. But I'm expecting that it will be as we continue to dollar cost average into that particular asset. But I'm happy with this portfolio. Yeah, there's Hype under 2.5% is the other assets. And we'll probably look to, like I say, drop some assets that we perhaps don't want in this portfolio anymore. Maybe we won't, but we're going to continue to see how this portfolio develops over time. I'm really, really confident that we're building a pretty solid, portfolio here. Compliant privacy with Midnight, think it's going to do awesome. Link is a must-have, in my opinion. Oracles, without oracles, which is what Chainlink does, smart contracts don't work. You get no adoption whatsoever. XRP, solid. Institutions are all over it. ETH, institutions are all over it. Actually, matter of fact, most accumulation in history for ETH right now. Solana, everyone's all over it. Litecoin's a more longer play for me. HBAR, a lot of people all over it. AVAX, institutions all over it. SUI, institutions all over it. XLM, big institutions all over it. ADA, again, massively undervalued. Expect it to get a spot ETF. World Mobile doing some fantastic things. Ondo's literally the number one for real world asset tokenization, AI with your artificial super intelligence, algos again doing really good things. Injective, I think, is going to do really well. Aptos, again, institutions all over it. The list goes on. I think this is a pretty strong portfolio. Time will tell whether it ages how I anticipate it does or it doesn't. Look, you know I hope this is, valuable for everybody watching. You can see me making mistakes. You can see me making absolutely amazing calls, and we'll see whether, things play out how I anticipate it does, or we're going to learn some really big lessons. And I think, the idea of this video series isn't necessarily like a boasting one, right? Like ultimately, I feel like I'm going to be able to be seen as somebody that is valid in every opinion that he's got in the future, once I say all this stuff and it comes to fruition. But if that doesn't happen, I'm a humble guy. I'm going to be talking about all the lessons that we've learned. And I guess the point that I'm poorly trying to articulate is there's going to be learnings no matter which way this goes. Like if you follow along, you do so at your own risk. Yeah, I'm not encouraging anybody to make these investments. I'm just talking about my journey, talking about my opinions on the markets, and hopefully that resonates with some people. If it does, great. If it doesn't, great. My life doesn't change in the slightest. This is, for me, very small money that I'm, accumulating into a portfolio that I think is going to do really well. And in like a few months' time, this portfolio could be 200 or 300% higher than it is today. And I think we will look back and, those people with the clown emojis and all that sort of nonsense, well, I'll be coming back with receipts. So be ready.